Perhaps the most powerful part of the human experience resides in our emotion. The human heart is awesome, and emotions really deal with the affairs of the heart. The heart is where passion resides. It's where we recognize beauty. It's where we become excited. What scares us is a matter of our emotions, just to name a few. The head is very important, and the route between the head and the heart cannot be entirely separated. In fact, you should not attempt to separate, but nevertheless, you should not downplay the importance of the heart. The heart is going to do what it does without you being able to control it directly. You can observe what is going on with your emotions, with your intellect at any time, and you can indirectly influence your emotions by what you train your thoughts on, but accept the fact that your heart is going to speak to you on its own terms from time to time. Well, if we really want to get on top and to make progress in the emotional part of life and guarding our well-being, recognizing its importance is the first step. What's the second step in actually improving our well-being? You can start anywhere, but a second step is to recognize the importance of your own self-image. What you really think of yourself has a lot to do with your emotional well-being. And that little voice inside where you're always evaluating how you're prosecuting life and how you're fitting into the world and into your relationships with others deserves some attention. If you spend your time beating yourself up but really not changing anything, that damages your self-image. If you spend some time falsifying the evidence and making yourself feel better, trying to make yourself feel better by playing up positives that aren't really there, then that's a fruitless activity. But if you get realistic about who you really are, your strengths and weaknesses, and we all have them. We have laudable things and we have things that we wish were different about ourselves. If you make progress on the things that you really wish were different, even just a little bit, then it can really improve your self-image, and it is useful exercise to do. Another part of the emotional well-being is your relationships with others. We all have a legitimate requirement to be connected to other people in a real way. Not thousands, but a handful. And for it to be honest and real, and for it to be a two-way street. We have a need to know and to be known by others and to be found acceptable. And to have someone who will listen to us when we are joyous, or listen to us when we're sad, and to share life experience. That is a legitimate human need, and it is worth investment of time and energy to create those kinds of relationships by giving to others and by getting from others. So that really influences your emotional well-being. In the world we live in, another important aspect of emotional well-being has to do with time management. We all have so many demands on our time and so many different channels of communication these days vying for our attention. It's difficult to know how to manage your time and where to put your priorities. With respect to time management, we all have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, until we have none. It is the great common denominator, and it is the great equalizer. And how we choose to set our priorities really is what time management is all about. But recognize that time and life are really the same thing. Time is the stuff life is made of, Ben Franklin said. Once we have a day go by, we don't get it back. So we need to be very thoughtful as to how we're setting our priorities, and we need to spend some of our time making choices about how to spend the rest of our time. That really determines the quality of our lives. Time management and priority setting are a very important part of emotional well-being. There's another part of emotional well-being too. We all have a need for some rest, some peace, and some joy in our life. We get it in different ways, and we respond at different times in our lives to different choices that we're making to find these. Life is not entirely about rest and peace and joy, having it made in the hammock, but we do need some of that somewhere along the way to recharge our batteries. So that is an important part of emotional health to attend to. One of the last thoughts I'll share with you, just as an introductory thought to emotional well-being, is focus on self or focus on others. So much of life is counterintuitive. It seems one way, but when we really analyze it, it turns out to be another way. We think that for us to get what we want in life, if we focus on ourselves and we kind of selfishly manipulate choices that we're making, that it'll come out better for us. But the truth is, in the final analysis, the servant is the one who is truly fulfilled. If you really are feeling sort of down and abused and unappreciated and depressed, if you will find someone to reach out to and to serve them in a significant or even an insignificant way, but to genuinely serve them, it will make you feel better about yourself. And it's a path to draw yourself out from selfishness that actually promotes your emotional well-being. This whole notion of head versus heart and the power of the heart is worth dwelling on and talking with others. It's a great way to spend some of your time, and it improves the quality of life.